Day Guam. I'm Adriana, and this is The Greater Good. And today I am joined with the Director of Island Girl Power, Juanita Blaz. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so I recently just went to Island Girl Power last week, and it was my first time walking in there, and I was amazed by everything that you guys have going on. And then I spoke with you, and I found out that it wasn't just the thrift store. There was so much more. Right. So instantly I had to ask that if you would come on my podcast, and you did, and I'm so, so grateful for that, so thank you. Now, for those that don't know, but even though I'm sure a lot of people here do know, what is Island Girl Power?
Well, Island Girl Power is a prevention program that was started in 2001, focused mostly on young girls and helping them through transition age, prevention work, helping them to build their self-esteem. Now, it is more of a community leadership training program. It's helping to develop workforces in the community, job skills. We help community members with different kinds of community service or service learning and training, the community garden. So there's so much more going on because we've always believed that, in the first 10 years, you can only do so much for the girls, and they were going home to families that were struggling. So we believe that we want to do more to inspire the community to be part of the positive change, reducing family violence and suicide and teen pregnancy, in order to better empower the young ladies. Because you can't just empower the young ladies. You need a team.
Yeah.
You need a team and a community of people that are really focused on being positive.
Well, I think that's what I had mentioned too. The first thing that I noted when I was in the thrift store was that there were so many people coming in and out, but they weren't even coming to shop like you would typically see at a thrift store, right? They were coming in to help and volunteer. And I asked you, I think I even asked your daughter, I was like, people come here and they won't just stop in whenever they have a free moment just to help out?
Yes.
And she said all the time, all the time.
So there are the voluntolds and the volunteers. And so whether they need community service for different organizations, building their resume, but also through jobs program, through GORA, certain clients through probation will work with them. And then you have the volunteers, which is people from the community that have something to share. Our yoga instructor, our dance instructor, several volunteers in the thrift store.
Do you often see families? Because when I was there, I saw a woman and then her daughter, and the daughter even went right away into helping clean up and organize, and that just, I was like, I was jaw-dropped at that. I was like, well, the little girl, she signed in.
It was Friday, and so they didn't have school. And the young ladies would come with their moms. The moms are probably required to do hours for some kind of social service program. And the young ladies, if they're out of school, they'll come and help. So every volunteer that comes into the thrift store or onto the compound, they volunteer for 15 hours. They get a $5 store credit. It's our way of saying thank you. It's our way of kind of giving back to those families, to those individuals that help us.
And these are often families in need.
A lot of families that just have certain situations that they're going through. They need to do a certain number of community service hours in order to obtain their public health, food stamps or welfare, or their low-income housing. But also, I get a lot of students through the university and through the high schools that just do the service as part of their school requirements. So the balance of having people from different socioeconomic backgrounds is what makes it so beautiful. We also have companies that sponsor months, and their company will come out during that month and provide volunteer service. And it's basically their month. And everything that we push out in that month is acknowledged that, certain company, Bank of Guam did it. Other companies have done it. And that's their month for volunteering. They'll send all their employees to have a couple hours out of their paid hours to come and help.
And so when I was there, it was the Navy and Marine sailors that were
USS Boxers.
Yes, the USS Boxers that were helping out. And I saw that. I was only in the thrift store because unfortunately I wore the wrong pair of shoes.
Right.
But next time I go, I will not be wearing those kind of heels.
Right.
But you guys have so much more. I didn't even get to make it to some of your bigger projects that you're working on. So maybe you can tell us what those are.
Okay. Well, the compound is really quite beautiful in its setup, and it's sponsored by, made possible by GU'd. We got a community development block grant, and they renovated 4 buildings there. And in the buildings, we have the thrift store, the family enrichment center, where a lot of the training and classes go on for the general community. So capoeira, we have a sewing group, we have yoga, we have Kempo karate, and there's other more classes coming. Then we have the girls clubhouse, which is the clubhouse for girls 7 to 14. That's really the only spot that is just the just for girls thing. And even then, a lot of the brothers and cousins will come and join in different activities. But then there's specific girl-centric activities that we do, body rights, personal rights, teen health kind of sections. And then the 4th building is our community garden and environmental building. And we do a lot of projects out of there. The projects in the neighborhood involve restoring neighborhood parks in Kaiser. Like I said on your interview, 26 parks exist in Kaiser. And a lot of them the government bundles into 2 and 3. So they're small. They're just green spaces. But there are 4 basketball courts there with the frames, but they're just totally not usable. Only the one that we've adopted is a usable basketball court. And there are at least 6 or 8 volleyball courts. They used to be tennis courts, but they can definitely be converted into volleyball courts. And we work really hard to engage the neighborhood so that they're part in restoring those neighborhood parks. This is not part of the government's inventory, and so it's not part of the government's inventory, and so it doesn't fall into where they would get funding. There's no funding to maintain the parks. We do get help from the Dededo mayor, and she helps with a lot of the disposal of certain types of waste. But what we really want the community to understand that those neighborhood parks were always the responsibility of the neighborhood. And people don't like to hear that. But we need to return those parks to the kids. Our generation, we had those parks beautiful when we were growing up. My mom's generation, even when she was young, we've failed to give those to the children of today, and we need to make it good. And then on the other side of us, between us and Island Girl Power and Benavente Middle School, is an 11-acre nature park, and it's an urban forest. Beautiful, beautiful trees in there, and we're working to go in there and put in more fruit trees, medicine plants, and make it a walking trail. And we had hopes to build a biking trail also. But we need fence line. We need fence line, and we need people that are interested in building that project up further than I can do it. Building that project up to be its own sustainable fruit tree forest. Agroforest. Yeah.
That's what I really wanted to take a tour of.
Yes.
But I will. Wear the right shoes next time, and I will do that. But so whenever Island Girls Power started, did it just start as a thrift store then, and then it kind of has expanded into this, or was this all part of the vision all along?
Island Girl Power was just a girls' clubhouse in Tizen. And it was, what can we do to curb the teen pregnancy rates, the suicide rates? And what was happening in the early 2000 was substance abuse rates in males generally, they start younger and the numbers are higher. What was happening there was the girl rates for starting to drink and smoke were almost equaling the boy rates. And so we had to come in and do a lot of positive interventions to get girls to focus on being young ladies more, young girls more, and get them to have fun and be young and enjoy, try to figure out who they are before they go into relationships and risky behaviors. And so we started the girls program with just the girls program, cooking, art, gardening, dance. Okay. And we had that clubhouse in Tizen. It wasn't until the GU'd grant that we were able to build the compound. In 2012 is when we sent the proposal in. But before that, every 4 months we would do a rummage sale. And gosh, KUAM's been there from the very beginning. You know,
Remember some of this, Jason?
Oh my goodness. Just saying, come and give us your donations, and then we'd have to turn around and sell all of those things or give it away in a day. And so our rummage sales were every 4 months, and we would just do the rummage sales just to pay our power and water. Staffing was always something that was a little further beyond our reach, and it still is. When grants come through, it's part-time at best, a percentage of a salary, or it's for a year or 2 years or 3 years. But having that consistent sponsorship has not been there. So I say that in the past 19 years of running Island Girl Power, I've probably been paid full-time accumulatively, maybe about 3 or 4 years. And that's to say that this is a work of heart.
Definitely.
But it's not so much about paying me, it's about paying people that work with me and that they deserve to sustain their families. Lower income families have public assistance, and public assistance offers so much that on a grant, the grant falls short of benefits, daycare, medical, dental. So, you know, I couldn't even take a family out of public assistance because the pay doesn't equal.
So, what made you passionate about this? What brought you to this?
I have 4 daughters and a son, and I definitely just wanted to have a better environment for my kids to grow up in. And it was always, what could I do with my time to better their situation?
So you were noticing a shift then, that there needed to be better and
Well, I mean, when you raise daughters, you kind of see the world differently. There was a lot of alcohol. Everything was, I'd say over the last years, Guam is saturated, completely saturated. And I don't have enemies in the community. I just have people that bring in different products that hurt the community. And it's not up to us to get sponsorship from them because we're a prevention program. That's a conflict of interest. And it's ruffled some feathers in the community. That's okay. I have my priorities straight. I believe that, you know, we should be a model for families, because when they hold a party for a child, it's for the child. Why are we doing all the alcohol? If we have a fiesta, it should be for the celebration of the culture. My culture is not a brand name of an alcohol company. And so, you know, getting people to realize that all of the underage drinking, it roots back at home. And yeah, that ruffles a lot of feathers. I'm sorry. But when we go to sports events, when we go to concerts, when we go to all these places that should be family friendly, it's usually not. So I had to provide a venue for families to come that was free from all that conflicted messaging.
So we have someone saying hello to you. Joseph Beneventi says, hello, Miss Juanita. I'm going to give him a little shout out. Hi, Joseph.
Hey.
So yeah, if people comment or post, we'll give them shout outs along the way as well. But, okay, so now, I was looking at the website online, and it's in part with the Azuda Foundation?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
Ajuda Foundation is our 501c3 nonprofit organization. The head of the main organization is Ajuda. Ajuda Foundation has many different programs underneath it. Ajuda sprouted out so many nonprofits on the island, kind of helped them to gather their strength and build their sustainability, and then let them go, and then they're on their own. And it's a beautiful thing. KUAM Project was under them. The Micronesian Marine Conservation Coalition, and they do
kind of plant the seeds.
Well, yeah, but it's also just fostering the concepts of helping the community in different ways, and having like that mentor organization to be able to say, okay, I don't have a building yet, but we can kind of be here and take advantage of all the wonderful space and Xerox machine and stuff, and then eventually be on our own. And there have been many organizations that have come through Ajuda Foundation. We've been the child that hasn't left home yet, and failure to lunch. But the thing with that is our plan was always to separate. That's a little harder. Having that consistent sponsorship and funding to be able to sustain the program, having a board of directors for ourselves, having bookkeepers and all the logistics of running the nonprofit. I'm on the ground moving boxes and teaching classes. And so
I saw it.
taking a step back and sitting behind a desk is not exactly what I like to do, but I'll balance it. And the time is coming for us to be able to switch out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, to be able to move forward and be able to focus.
Do you think
on
that's
others.
something that might happen recently?
In the next couple of years? It's slow process for us.
Okay.
Yeah, because we've got the thrift store right around the corner, and a new thrift store coming up.
Really?
Expanded, and our proposal is in with GU'd, and so we're really waiting for a final word about that proposal that we sent in. To see if we're going to be able to build the building next door, 3 to 4 times bigger than the thrift store we have now, and be able to move a lot of the overflow from our current thrift store. A lot of our overflow spills over into the other buildings.
Okay.
And so we have thousands of rubber stamps. We have art supplies galore that just wait for space. We have clothes back stockpiled in the back and sorted, waiting for the new thrift store. And it's about finding sponsors to be able to help with that transition when it does happen. That's going to be.
So how do you feel seeing all this, all these new happenings, and how big Island Girl Power has become?
Well, I mean, everything. I was just talking to Mama. Everything has.
Me and Mom over here too. Just everyone knows.
There.
Number one fan.
Yeah.
Support
She's
system.
my main core support system.
Yeah. You want to come say hi?
Making
No.
Let's go. I'm good.
Making her blush. My belief system, my upbringing is thanks to Mama. And
Beautiful.
I was just talking to her about how everything that kind of is a transition for us in the organization. People come in and go out. Buildings need repair, and then they're fixed, and containers need to be repainted. There's always a balance of good that is difficult with change, and so we're always balancing all of the negative activities that are going on the island and in the organization itself. So always just trying to keep a very clear, very positive environment for everybody that comes through. And it's beautiful taking a step back and looking at the accomplishments. And I make jokes. You said I can make jokes.
You can make jokes.
I can make jokes.
I love to laugh.
So this is like a horrible version of a joke. But I always like to say that I'm a woman that took a corner without a set of heels. And so that corner, that's horrible. So, and I like to say that when we get donated heels that are nice and furry and feathery.
You mean like the ones I wore the other day? Just kidding.
And just really super high stiletto things. I say, well, she quit her night job. Yay. And so it's funny, but when you run a thrift store, you kind of have stories behind the items. And even if you don't have the story, you make it up.
Yeah.
In your mind, you make it up.
Have fun with it.
So many amazing donations have come through, though. There's families that consistently donate to us really amazing product. And we're able to turn them around and give them to families in need through our voucher program, or to be able to sell it and just help to pay our power and water. Because that's really what the thrift store does. It pays power and water, a stipend for the yard, and a stipend for the cashiers.
So how about
really small.
Those that want to donate, how can they?
Well,
or volunteer as well.
And this is always, nobody likes to hear this, but clean, not damaged, toys that are complete, electronic equipment that is working, and they can donate on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 10 to 5.
Okay. And what about people that want to volunteer? Just come in?
Tour. They have to take a tour,
Okay.
a mandatory tour. And the tours are Saturdays at 9:30, and Mondays at 10 o'clock. So I just did my tour just this morning. And it's an orientation and a safety briefing,
Okay.
but more or less, I really want people that only see certain parts of the program to come in and see the rest of the program through
Like
the building.
garden, everything.
And if kids are coming in for service learning, don't just drop your kid off. Don't ever do that. And don't ever let them go out into the community and volunteer without meeting the people that are going to be sharing their time. Come down. It's required if they're minors to come and take the tour with your child. See the facility. Don't leave questions in your mind about the environment they're working in or what conditions, what kind of activities they're going to be working on. Service learning is a beautiful thing, but with anything we do with our kids, we need to make sure that it's properly set up. And with Island Girl Power, most of the situations that happen, it's because the parent didn't take the tour, and she sent an older sibling to go and take the tour. So then mom's thinking, are there guys there? Why are there guys there? How come you didn't get lunch today? You know, I mean, take the tour so you'll know we don't feed your kid.
Right.
It's a job. It's a job. And if we have extra food from a cooking class, we share. The girls are very happy to share what they prepared. But I don't have enough time to cook meals for 30 to 40 kids sometimes that come through for service learning. And that's just anywhere you go to do service learning, they're not gonna set up meals for you guys. It's a job preparation.
So I saw your daughter working there.
Yes.
So do your kids work there then?
So they come and help out, but my daughter Natalie is, for all intents and purposes, running the thrift store again, and she's been a cashier in training since she was in high school, and I've got my grandson. He's like 3, and running around the store. He's like the boss of the store.
So what's that like for you, since this was the whole reason why you started Island Girl Power, were for your kids and then seeing your kids there?
It's nice. It's really nice. It feels good. At the same time, there are requirements. And mama gets to be a boss. And so being mama and boss is a little hard. But we definitely do work out the adjustments and just try to be as comfortable as we can at the center. But everybody at the center has the same rules as everybody else.
Right. So we have another person saying from Frank Chargos. Jason, help me with that last name. Chargois.
Very nice.
Sorry about that, Frank. But
Sorry,
he's saying half a day to all that are watching this amazing program. Thank you, Frank, and thank you for watching. But yeah, okay, great. So with the holidays, is there anything in particular you guys are looking for at all as far as donations?
Well, the whole gratitude and thankfulness, and the Giving Tuesday and all those wonderful campaigns that we always seem to be really short on. We need your support. And so Island Girl Power has some pretty big projects coming up with the facility, and we need to be able to sustain ourselves. The thrift store goes through highs and lows. We need monetary support to keep the program going. And this is my push for companies. Donate to Island Girl Power. We are still connected with the 501c3, and the Judah Foundation is where the donations get channeled to. But we need annual sponsorships for the programs to be consistent. And programs that are functioning at 10% right now, because we can. We help the neighborhood schools with shoes for the kids that come in with broken shoes. We have a voucher program. We do what we can right now with the volunteer staff we had, what we have. And so what we can do is blow those up to be fully sustainable programs with a couple of volunteer staff. And so a sponsorship from a company would result in part-time employment for people and be able to sustain those programs, because now we have the people in the office to run and manage the data and take the intake forms and things like that. So sponsorship. We also have a few Christmas trees for sale at the center, but we're always the place where people come for Christmas decorations and things like that. We only can sell what people give us. So if the wonderful, beautiful tree does not turn on when you plug it, that's the one we're selling. And you can put your own lights on it. But, you know, it is what it is. And at a thrift store, you make beautiful things with sometimes things that weren't working so properly.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that we have lots of beautiful designer purses right now. We've
I
had
did
some
see those
beautiful,
when I walked in.
beautiful people that really just give us quality items. And we don't try to meet the online sale price. We do like 30, at the most 50, but those $50 bags are retailing for like $200 to $300. So we know how to do the price ranges. And if it's still in excellent condition, then there's no reason why we can't charge 50 for it. So we try to be smart about our pricing, and it's a lot more reasonable now. Change of staffing, change of management, and a lot of the prices have come down recently. Yeah.
Okay, well, is there anything else you want to add before close out? Or Mama, want to come join us for a second?
That sounds good.
Yeah. You want to come say hi? Yeah, you look great.
Okay.
And I have to add, oh, that's okay, that's okay.
Ta-da! What an entrance.
That is okay. We will clear that up in a second.
lecture.
But
No
before
lecture.
we say goodbye, I just have a question for you. As a mother, seeing your daughter all the way through this, and I'm sure you've seen it from the beginning to where we are here now.
Right.
What
You
do you?
gotta
What do you?
go in the middle.
Oh,
Go in the middle.
yeah.
Oh,
Fit
my
back
goodness.
here? But no, it's okay. It's okay.
No, put the thing on top of the water.
They don't know
Got
no
it.
water.
But let me
I
move
get a
this
great
mic here.
entrance.
Grand
entrance
entrance.
here.
But so yeah, being there from the beginning to where you are here now as a support system. I mean, what's it been like?
Fantastic. I mean, I done something right recently.
Roller
I'm still
coaster.
trying to figure it out. But I'm one, as a mother, worry about burnout. We need to keep this gem shining.
That's
'cause,
right.
She's not very easily replaceable.
Not at all.
And,
I can tell that even just from meeting her first time.
yeah.
I was in there and you were organizing everything, telling the sailors what they go here, go there, go there. I was like, wow, I like this. It was very empowering to see that.
She,
So, yeah.
she knows, and she doesn't give up. She doesn't take no for an answer.
Mm-mm.
She doesn't wait till the ink is dry on the contract and she started renovating and everything with buildings and stuff.
Oh, no, but the legal processes were taken care of. Thank you very much.
Oh,
Thank
but
you very
still,
much.
she didn't wait. she knew.
Started
she,
building the partnerships and making it happen. But, you know, I've always loved the fact that I come from a very wonderful family. The Cushing family, long history of being real amazing people in the community. And so my grandma taught me a lot about, you know, how important math is and how to be a good person. And so everything with Mom. We all go through our struggles and our challenges, but doing good work in the community just makes everybody feel good. And through the
Heart
struggles, we're always able to overcome because we're doing it for the right reasons.
I remember growing up, my parents always told me it's not about what you have, but what you have to give.
Right.
So it kind of reminds me of the way you were raised.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Can you also talk about what the Cushing family is really known for?
Oh.
Oh,
And that's love.
it's love, yes.
Is that right?
It goes far as back as circus folks.
Mhm.
And Mom and Papa traveled with the circus. And the two older siblings, my siblings, were raised in the circus. And they ended up on Guam. And we're always known as the circus people. And also the father and son that were lost at sea and survived. And I have a brother now that's running the zoo in Tumon.
Okay.
And yeah, that's
Family business, yeah.
it's all family, and we all do, like you say, for the better good.
For the greater good, yeah.
Papa
exactly.
would give the shirt off his back, and then I
Reminds
grew
me of
up
my dad.
learning that. Well, fiestas down south, the old folks will remember the fiestas down south. There comes the Cushings and trailers and with the Ferris wheel and
Rides.
everything setting
They
up for
bring
the
the
rides.
rides
That's
down.
even before your time.
Mhm.
It's,
But you know,
it's
I've been to the
fantastic.
zoo many times.
Yes.
I love it.
Parents have such an impact on us, though.
Yeah.
Honestly, like
Right.
even myself, I remember things that my parents would always say, and even though they would say it, I'd be like, I know. Like I've heard you say it so many times, but it really does. It sticks in there, you know. Even just the one statement, and you mentioned like giving the shirt off your back. It's you know, my dad would always also say that when you can bring happiness to someone else's life, even when it's at your own expense, you do it. no matter what it is. Like, you do it, especially if it's if it's happiness.
Right.
If it's gonna bring
A
happiness.
lot of that is lost nowadays, and it's
Mhm.
sad. And we still, but there is still a lot of good feeling out there, and good, and that makes up for
Clearly, yes.
makes up for
positivity.
Mhm.
Right,
It's
right.
a
And
constant
I would just,
struggle.
I think I would just really just call out to the community to be part of the positive change.
Mhm.
Your kids don't have to do service learning hours out in other villages. Find a neighborhood park, adopt your street, do something with the graffiti around your bus stops. Be part of the change where you are. Do what you can with what you have where you are.
Mhm.
And that was by Theodore Roosevelt. And it's just about really getting them to be proud of their community.
Mhm. Okay, well, thank you, ladies. Thank you
Yes,
so
and
much,
thank
and
you
thank you
for
for your
having
work.
us.
Thank you. Thank you all for watching. I'm Adriana Katera for The Greater Good. Still wave some more.
2, 1.